Bonnie has had her road trip. Bonnie has some new parts today. I had a new belt in the trunk, in the boot, and so I didn't need to get one of those. I'm going to try to be very slow and deliberate about this. This is going to cover all kinds of different things. And, oh, that's a rotor. Okay. Is that really a rotor? Yeah, it is. Oh, it's got the screws and everything. Oh, good. Okay, well, I forgot that was in there. So, the fan belt for this particular model is a Duralast 15595, or the one in here is what was in here? This is a Gates 7597 XL, and I think that's the lot. So if you have two belts, you can get from the same tube basically, and get matched belts. So that's that. I told you that if I got lucky today on hoses, there's the new belt. I just think it's squeaking, and so this one doesn't look nearly as shiny as the other one. And I'm ready to go with my tension checker. Don't see these much anymore because people use serpentine belts, but you press this down and it measures how tight it is, the belt. Now, let's talk about hoses. And this was the hose that was on it, and I'm sure not called for that I know of, because I just went back and matched it up. And this upper hose, E70664, and I had to do some major shortening of my cable so my internet works better. This is the bottom hose. Can't get much more simple than that, but she's starting to come apart. So these now go to the extra parts back here. So I went to my local Advance and had them cross this number, and they found the original part number for the hoses for this car, lower hose, and it did not come in. And they said, oh well, nothing we can do about it. Okay, that's fine. So they let me go in the back and match something up, and I found something better than what we had. So this one, be sure and put your seal glide on when you do these things. So this, if you've got this set up with this alternator, this is a nice hose, and it's not one of them squiggly wiggly ones, called corrugated. Dayco 70664, and that fits. It's got the little turn. It fits just so nice. So the other hose in the back now, it was more straight. This one actually curves and goes up into the water pump house, and the other one actually was hitting the frame a little bit. This one doesn't. I didn't have to shorten these at all. So this is a Dayco 70445 for the lower hose, and very exciting. So I'm going to take her up and put all the plugs back in her, and then that's going to be it. We're going to put coolant in it and call it a day. So I'm going to have to turn my distributor a little bit. That's why I left the vacuum on there, the vacuum gauge, so I can adjust the distributor if I need be. I'm going to warm her up, check the transmission fluid. I put some dye in the transmission fluid to check for leaks. I've got to pull the speedometer cable. I don't know if I'm going to get all that in on this episode. Now, the reason I stopped on my last video, and I had a bunch of footage on this speedometer drive, was because you can see I got it apart. And the way I did that was I got my Lowe's Home Depot paint can opener, and I shoved it through the other side and was able to push the seal out. And I was right, there is some kind of holding mechanism that holds this gear in place. And here is the seal, and I have called around, and you can forget it. And this one's got a little tear in it, but I don't think that's a problem. I'm gonna pretend that it's not a problem because I have to. So the trouble here is probably the seal, but you can tell there's a wear groove right here. So I don't know if it's supposed to have that groove in it. It almost looks machined. But what you got is that right there. And that right there is just abysmal. And I mean, that has got nothing going for it. I sprayed WD-40 on it, and and it didn't swell it up any. Sometimes you run into plastics like that, rubber plastics. This is probably not natural, but that, my friends, is going to leak. So what am I going to do about that? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some shrink tube on this with super glue and shrink tube it until it fits tight into this seal. And I have looked and looked and looked for that seal. And you can, I've told you can get them for 3-speed and all for the 350, but you can't get it for this one. So I'm going to do my best to rebuild this thing. I may go drop that in the ultrasonic for a little bit. This seal I'm not going to be able to do anything with, but when I put it in there, I'll put some sealant around here. I've got to make sure that now when I was trying to knock this thing out, and it doesn't go that way. Yeah, it does. It goes that way. And see, like I said, it's got those grooves right here. So I don't know what I can do about putting some kind of seal there, but I'm going to try. And then you run into, it was sort of locked in there. I had to tap it out with this useless socket there. Now, it seemed like it locked into place because it did. And you can tell that that doesn't really want to be your friend too much. So my guess is that if you run this thing, it's going to want to pop out of there. And so I don't know quite what I'm going to do about that. I don't seem to have a ton of room to work with, but we will see what can be done. I'm thinking of putting in a let's just go get them. I think I got them right over here. You know, some kind of snap ring in that. That seems more logical to me, and something that has some spring tension other than just kind of a force fit. So I keep my snap rings. Those are big old things there. No, that's key stock. I forgot I had some key stock, but I've got these lock rings, and I think that will be better and will hold it into place. I may put 2 on it to make up for the thickness on the one that's on here. So for all you Turbo Hydromatic guys out there, see, that's pretty thick. So if I put 2 on that, put my shrink tube on it right there after I get the snap rings on it, and just do what I can to give that a little girth, and at least I'll be a little better off. I actually have little fear of putting a little silicone in there. It'll just turn into a fitted O-ring. So this is going to be a very special project, probably very boring to those of you who don't do this kind of stuff. So let's go back there and clean. Now see, oh yeah, and by the way, it doesn't seem to rock about in there. There's no, back. That's just old Teflon tape. So I've actually thought of this. I was thinking of building up those little notches and putting an O-ring up there. I don't know. I don't know if I want to mess with that thing to any great degree. It does have a marking on it. It's a 181. Let's go throw this in the cleaner. I got to pull the speedometer cable, and I'm going to wrap it somehow. I don't know how yet. But I got to go up and do the coolant thing. So I've blown out the heater core, I hope for the last time. I didn't get any cleaner for the cooling system because I just don't think it needs it. So let's just bolt all that back together, go up, and let me close the boot lid so we won't have any fouling up back here. And we will try to get her dressed up and ready for the ball. I have the speedometer cable out, and I'm going to throw this in the ultrasonic too. I don't know why that's like that. It's not. See, that's what you run into, that blackness. So I've got to get this thing clean to wrap it. Whoa. I don't know what caused that. It wasn't hard to pull out. So I'm going to pull the inner cable out and put the outer and inner cable in the ultrasonic, so it'll be easier to wrap with my extreme tape. Or maybe my other idea, which I don't think is going to work. Well, I wish it would. That would solve a lot of problems, but I don't think it's going to work. I was hoping that I had enough shrink tube of the right size to just put shrink tube over this and shrink it on there, but you got to get over these ends. That's 9/16. I ain't got anything that big by a long margin, and don't need it. So this has been in the ultrasonic, this cable. I have wiped it down with brake cleaner. I have it very gently in the vise. I don't want to touch it because of the skin oils. And I'm going to start it right here with this extreme tape. You can find it on Amazon. This stuff is very pliable. This is about the best I've found. I don't remember where it came from. It's on my history. I have to look it up. But the thing I've learned about it is when you start, you need to put a little pull tie or two. And we're going to go for Christmas here. Yeah, let's go for Christmas. We got a green one and a red one. And when I put this stuff on, this tape, I usually wear gloves because your skin oils foul it up. And I'm going to go as far up as I can go. You know, there's little nicks and damages all in this thing. I don't know how or why. It's just abrasion after all these years. So let's wrap this thing and see what we got. So this is how it looks. I've got it there. I've got my two ties. I've wrapped it all the way to here, and then I ran out of this. I had some black of the same type of thing, and then I went to this, and this is just plain old black tape going almost all the way up to the head, just to kind of double ensure that we're in good shape here. So I got to put some ties right here. I didn't get very far with the black. So let's, the cable's in here, and I'm going to use what you're supposed to use. You really shouldn't use heavy grease in this, and I have some lock ease. We've got plenty of it too. So this is graphite liquid, and that's what you really should use in speedometer cables. It's just a little bit. I ran brake clean down the inside of the outer cable. So let's just see if we can start getting some stuff together here. I have her all threaded up into the speedometer head, so we'll hope that works out. And we looked at this the other day, and it's right there, and it goes in there and all that other stuff. So she's hanging down and leaking out all my good graphite. But let's work on this thing now. This all kind of has the feeling of I'm going to do a whole lot and it's still going to leak. So I got some silicone and filled in the little slots, and I got that little paper gasket in there. And so I don't want to drop that thing, and we can lubricate it in a minute. So I've been trying to think of what I'm going to do, and I just don't know yet about the locking ring. I need to be more specific. This thing. And the more I even look at that thing, the more it falls apart. So I'm a little scared of it. So let's, before we go into that world, well, I can't. You can't really put the shrink tube on it until you get it in there. So that is keyed, isn't it? It's got to be. Well, I know that. Oh yeah, this is the key part of it. So I'm going to have to just see what I can do about getting it in there. I'll worry about lubing it up later if I worry about that at all. because I got a feeling there'll be transmission fluid in there lubricating it. I had to use the original lock ring in there. I took it back to my little anvil and I gave it a couple of love taps and made it a little bit oval, and then I put some graphite in there, and she spins pretty good. I believe that my little itty thin washer probably took up a little bit of slack because it was bouncing around in there a little bit. It's not doing that so much now. So I'm in a dangerous world here. So we'll just hope that it works. That's all I can do. Well, there's the shrink tube idea. I put a drop of super glue in there, and then I heated it up. Might need to do it a little bit more just to get it even. And then she still spins around. Okay. Don't want to put too much super glue in there because you don't want it going down the shaft, of course. I mean, you got to think about things like that. Okay, well, I guess I'll try to drive that seal in there now. And I'm going to use some Permatex #1 on this because it hardens. And I got to think of, I got to find my best possible, let me put this back now. And I know there's a lot of different flavors of this, but it either works real good or pretty good, and you know, different stuff works on different things. I know there are tests run on it, but there that is, and the cable should slip in there fine. We'll test it when we get down there. So I've got to find a socket that will drive this in. Whew, that'll be tough. But, you know, I don't have a choice. All right. Do you hear the thunder? Yeah, that means Sean's here. Sean! Wave to everybody. He's got to turn that chair around all the time. Don't worry about Big Maud. She knows what to do. There's nobody here. All right, let me shut everything down. I don't want dust hitting everything. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the way the sunbeams are streaming down through the clouds. Gorgeosity. Almost as pretty as him out there making me a decent driveway. Alright, I'll just show you what it looks like at the end. I don't want this thing to go forever. Gonna get that spread out over there and get it up against the house. Be nice. Where's the brake? I gotta go out there and get the big hunks out. That's right, hunkas. The big boulders, because that fouls him up. I remembered that. I can't believe it. Let's talk about this thing and what you're going to run into. There's the old seal ring. The seal I just more or less just took out and gave up on it. It was just too tight. The shrink tube idea works, but it's just too tight for me to worry about spinning out the governor. Good thing I know him. Up in the tail shaft of the transmission where this goes up. The gear was just too tight. So I had to dig this out. This is the remaining parts of the neoprene seal. So that's now junk. So what do? Well, mainly you worry about this gear popping up and causing damage or not working. So I think I've got that fixed. See how well it spins now? I got a seal in here and I lubricated it well, and that takes up any wear. Now in here you will see that there's some silicone. Well, this is what I did yesterday, and I didn't want to talk about this until it was cured. So I put it all together. There was nothing here, no seal, no nothing, just the shaft and the locking ring, we'll call it that. So I just took some plain old lightweight oil and filled up where the cable goes and let it sort of fountain over the edge a little bit. Now this is once I cleaned this very carefully and got it completely clean and dry with brake clean and everything else. So I got off the old, or the piece of shrink wrap that I had. So nothing in there but metal and the lock ring. Clean, 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 clean. So then I put the oil in and let it cascade over a little bit, and then so that oils the shaft down in here. And then I got some red silicone that Sean left here, and I filled up the cavity. And what that does is that'll stick to all the clean parts, but not the oiled part. So when I got up this morning, there was a little bit of a snap to in there, but that's spinning around now. You can see the gear spinning, and that's directly attached to the shaft, so you know the shaft is spinning. I can see it spinning in there. You probably can't. What could I do to have you see that? Well, I don't know. Here, let's try this. You know it's spinning, but I just kind of want to demonstrate. We had a rough day here yesterday, gang. I got to tell you, I didn't enjoy yesterday in the least. Problems and death and grief and stuff like that. So anyway, it's spinning around. You just have to trust me. So what it did was it spun, and it sort of stuck a little bit, and then it let go. You just hit it easy, and it'll let go. And that's all I can do. So I packed it as tightly as I could with silicone. So we're going to put it on and see if it leaks. I'm going to just pack everything I can with all the silicone I can get in there and get this thing to stop leaking. I'm going to wrap these with Teflon tape. And like I say, I don't know about putting an O-ring right here. I don't know if it's even necessary if you can seal this. And an O-ring could possibly even get in your way. So I may just lay a bead of silicone around here instead of an O-ring and just let it kind of squish and seal, and then just don't mess with it. When it comes to doing things like this, do it and leave it alone. Don't mess with it. Just get it tight back up in there and give it up. And that's true on both sides. So this goes up in the gearbox, and just put a little bead of silicone there. Now you got to remember, this isn't 1964. We are way ahead on sealants than they were then. I guess if you wanted to, you could even use a little bead of rope caulk around there. I may do that. I may get that 3M black rope caulk and just make it sort of like a pencil thin mustache and just loop it around here and seal it that way. I don't know. Well, this side you wouldn't, because you got the cup thing. But maybe this side I may do that. Maybe just wrap it with tape and put a little, get the black stuff and put it between my fingers and make it thin and sort of pack it in here, and that ought to help. But we got to stop this leak. You can't have a leaky automatic gearbox because you can burn it up. So anyway, my experience with that is if you get a quarter so low anyway, it's going to start slipping, and you're going to know. But let's not run that risk. Okay? I can only hope that this is the last time I'm under her for a while, other than I have a feeling that I'm going to have to be doing something about this. So obviously it drips a little bit. Okay, let's finish up here. This is back in place. We will discuss it no further. We will hope that we will not see little red drops of unhappiness right here. We have laced up our wire going to our sending unit to the fuel gauge. We have our glow shift in place. We have that tight. We have these strapped in. This is in the original holder right here. The speedometer cable, everything is lashed to it. This is going to be my O2 sensor plug-in. The original clip up there is holding the speedometer cable. You can see it right there. And then we'll lace everything else up there. The drain plugs are back in place with a little bit of tape and a little bit of goo. I have lubricated. You can tell right there by the goo coming out that's all. The steering's all been lubricated. The earthing strap is tight on both ends. All this is in place, and those are rather substantially held now. Those transmission cooler lines. think I did forget to put that on. We'll do that right now. So lower hose, and then we'll drop her down, put the new belt on her, put the heater valve in her, and all of that stuff. Open the heater valve all the way. That'll happen. You can do that at the dashboard. So that is going to be that, I hope. And the telltale will be here in a little bit of time. It's been raining on and off. I may try to take her up and down the road just to get the dye circulating in here. I do not feel that it's leaking from up high. The fluid seems to be coming from this right here. All right, let's get that lower hose on and drop her down. We've been buttoning up and doing here. I have the heater control valve in. I have marked which side is closed and which side is open. It's plugged in, siliconed, and clamped. So now all I got to do is just clamp it down there. I'll do that shortly. But I've started filming, so let's just keep going. I got my pull ties there. I won't forget. I have my new belt here, and I have tensioned it. Now this is the Cricket V-belt tensioner. So used to have a strap, but it's long gone. You want your belt to ride. If you get one of these, I don't know if I can get you a part number. Put your belt tensioning thing. Let's say it's from 1981. Whoa. So you want your belt to ride on this flat plane here, from here to here, okay? Because as much as this goes up, it's going to tell you where you read it. And it shows you where to read it. And there was the old strap. You can see a picture of it. And it will be on this edge right here is where you're going to read it. You want to tension it to what you think it should be. You want to find the longest stretch you can. And I'm just going to reach down there and do it. So put it like this. Make sure you're fully engaged. Put your finger here. And I'm going to go right down in here. And I'm looking for like 60-something pounds maybe on this long thing. Now here it go click in just a second. Okay, click. So, yeah, 55-ish, 60. Now this is a new belt, so she's going to come loose on you. So if you get one of these, be sure and keep the instructions. And this gives you some pretty good information about belts and just general rules of tension. Boy, that sounds like the way I live. General rules of tension. So you turn it sideways, spot it to see. It's real simple to use. And if you've got a lot of experience, you really don't need to have this thing. They didn't have too many belt configurations in 1981, did they? Look at that one. That's funny. So I keep this in my special tools bag, which reminds me, I got some special tools over under my miter box, my power miter box that I wanted to move over here. So just put that in your special needs, special tools box. And I feel like the alignment on that belt looks good. What else we're going to check this valve over here in just a second. Now I'll tell you about vintage air systems. If you want to actuate the heater valve, the fan has got to be on at least low. And then the key's got to be on, and you got to turn it all the way up. Here, I'll just show you. What difference does it make? You probably don't have this kind of system, but if you get to vintage air, and this is the Gen 2, I think. This is the big puppy. And so I got the ignition key on, but the battery off. Don't I? Yeah. So you got to turn your fan on, and you turn your heat all the way on. Here, let's do it like that. So you turn your heat all the way on. So you'll hear the fan kick on, and hopefully we'll see that valve actuate. So when I put coolant in it, we won't run low on that thing. So what we're looking for here is this bar right here to come up. So let me just turn the battery. I don't think I can reach both ways here. And that should swing up to the open position. Fan on, swinging over to the open position. There you go. Okay, so we know that's fine, and when you turn the battery off, she'll stay right there. And it's funny because the Healy has an original, like from the factory valve, and it has C and O on it. We won't go over there and look though. So there you go. And I'm very happy about that. Well, I guess I put a C on the other side. I guess I can put it where, on this side where I can see it. So that's closed and open. Okay, so I'll put a C down here, but we can't see that one. All right, so what else have I got to do? That's all tight. Let's put some pull ties on the heater hose and put the upper hose on. I don't think I'm going to run a vacuum on it, and I feel like she's okay. And Batman, and I guess that's fatigue. I don't know what causes me to do that. I should know better by now. I've cleaned my funnels out. I've got everything ready to go. Let's not put that on until I get the upper belt on and get that battened down. Let's turn the key off because I don't want it kicking over and doing anything. I've got to move the distributor one gear over to see if I can get the vacuum advance vacuum line on it. And I'll do that next. Do you want me to cover that? Probably not. It's very simple. I need to put this away now because I don't want to step on it. And let's just put it away now. Wobble, wobble. So all you do is you get, I was just over there. This is the mechanic's friend, a little white, W-I-T-E out, okay? And let's just put it right here where we'll see it. All you got to do is take these screws out, take that off, the cap off, and the 9/16 bolt on the other side, and click it over one notch. And just mark here. I'll just show you. Just when you know, just mark your pointer on the body of the distributor, your rotor where it's pointing, and when you move it over, just sort of line it up best you can, and then you have to kind of retime it. So what? I mean, you've got to retime stuff over and over anytime. Anyway, to get it sort of tuned, so ain't a big deal. The Wonder funnel is there with a normal amount of gook on the top. That's the way it should be. I have moved the distributor, so you will find that if you do that on most cars, you will find that you will have trouble aligning the oil pump driver. So just kind of be patient, and you got to make sure that it's seated all the way down. Don't forget your gasket. And you can see I got it pointing there, and now the vacuum advance is pointing that way. I moved it probably one turn or one tooth. And everything's so shiny down there, it looks like water's leaking. It kind of makes you nervy a little bit. Kind of funny. So it looks like when I put the distributor cap back on, we'll still be in the proper time. I'm going to check that, of course. But anyway, that's the way you do that. I didn't really show it, but you take your cap off. Try not to molest your wires too much. Just rotate it. We've got to work around that oil pump keyway down in there, and then that looks like I'll be able to adjust that, and I'll be able to take off. Now, a lot of these things, you really don't need clamps on this stuff. So here is my timed or metered or off idle little thing there. So let's this is a big day. Let's pull this out of here. I got all my Edelbrock stuff and my glow shift thing. I wrote a rather glowing review about that thing. It was hard to put on, but dang, I like it. I like it fine. You know, not bicker and argue about that. it can only be what it can be. There's no reason to be hard on things if they're on, like that. So I've got the coolant in it. I know there's probably air in there. I'm sure there's air in here. And that's why I like the Wonder Funnel. I got it up to here. And I got a new tube. I hate that that's got that kink in it. I can't do anything about it. And I got probably too much water in my reservoir right here. But what'll happen is it'll blow. Maybe I should fill that thing up. But I think the air eventually works out of that. And I don't know, I might mess with that. I'm sort of coasting now, so, and I got to remember to check the transmission fluid. So let's put the distributor clamp back on it. There it is. Is there anything in that thing? That ain't much of a lock washer, but it's okay. So let's put that back on there. I'm not too worried about the paint, I guess you've noticed. And let's go. Let's put everything, lock it down, and see what happens. Now I'm not going to lock it down all the way, because I've got to, give it the little turn to get the vacuum at the maximum. And the vacuum's going to change since now I'm going to hook up the vacuum advance. All right, I don't know what went wrong. Maybe batteries are exhausted and I'll have to do this in the house. So at idle, you want her to run a little lean at idle because it'll foul the plugs otherwise. So when I gas her up, she ain't gassing up. She's still running too lean. She's running good, but she's running lean. And so I'm going to have to order that to get the 1401 jets. And it just smells kind of lean. I don't know what that means, but it just does. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to the previous footage. The camera just shut off. I'm having trouble with the on-off button. This is a Coopix B500 Nikon. And it's been good to me. But I think I might need a new camera. We all talk about that, don't we? So let's change that gauge out. Let's tighten down the distributor. And let's order that kit to get the 1401 jets. I only have one. Well, that ain't going to do you any good. I did spend a good long time adjusting the idle. I did learn that the new belt is a little shorter, just a tiny bit, and it would be. And I put it on, and I got this terrific, horrible noise because these fins, these cooling fins for the alternator were hitting I always like to take a movie of me doing this, so when I'm editing my stuff, I can make sure that I turn that off. And so I put the old belt back on it, but it does make a terrible clickety-clackety because this hits this. And I don't know what to do about that. I guess I could shim some one way or the other or something, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And so all that belt tightening I did was kind of a waste of time, other than somewhat instructional, I hope, for some of you. So I tuned everything with, I'm not messing with anything without putting the air cleaner on it. Now I'm going to say something else too. This kit that I have, this 1487 kit, is very old. And actually, some of the jets just don't look good. They look a little tarnished. So I think it just might be time to get us up to the 1401s. So we're going to go with the jet and rod combination to get us somewhere. I'm probably going to go for that right there, and that would be I'm going to go for the 1401s with probably another metering rod. Let's not get into all that. But she's running lean, and that's not good on break-in. So I don't want to do too much more breaking in on it until I get the mixture right. But other than that, she's doing pretty good. She's doing great, actually. And that's one of the reasons I didn't want to go too far the other day. And I am not going to do too much worry about the gearbox stuff now. Now, if I end up with a problem with the speedometer cable leaking again, I ordered this stuff. It's not expensive. 1/2 inch shrink tube. I got some 5/8 and 9/16 is on the way. I don't know what this stuff is like, but I couldn't get that orange stuff that I liked. I couldn't even find it on my history, so I don't know what went wrong with it, but I got a bunch of this to wrap that one fitting that holds the transmission dipstick. So let's just call this one done for today. Might be a couple of days before I get back and can do anything, unless I want to pay all the shipping to get it here, but I don't think I want to do that. No big hurry. Give me a thumbs up. Hit like and subscribe. Why do I do that? You can't do both. Just hit like or whatever, and then subscribe. Whatever you do, just subscribe. Just and tell your friends. Send it out and say, I need subscriptions. And I don't want to be a beggar. So anyway, let's go in. It's kind of thick out here. It's really a nice day, comparatively speaking, for some summertime. So I hadn't been out here very long. It seems like this is like 3 days worth of work. And so anyway, some people have asked me, I know you're not home. How did you post that? Well, it's because I put stuff up and I stagger it on the scheduled when to post. And that just, I just like doing that. It just seems like the thing to do. So that's a little bit of inside, I don't want to say anything anymore. Just inside what I do. Inside Bobby's shop. Let's put it that way. All right, bye-bye. Thanks for sharing time with me. I hope anything I do helps somebody, because y'all sure have helped me. Bye-bye.